All right, for this part of the comparative advantage worksheet, this is going to dig a little bit more into detail and information. So you got to go through and you got to answer these 6 things up here. So for each question, so 1 through 6 for question 1, 1 through 6 for question 2, 3, and 4. So if I go to question number 1, it says, does output vary or does input vary? Remember, output we want high, inputs we want low. So Joy gives 2 haircuts or 1 perm in an hour. Okay, so 2 haircuts or 1 perm in an hour. So when you think about that one, okay, that's in an hour how much they're doing. Susie can give 3 haircuts or 2 perms in an hour. So that's output. So for number 1, we're going to circle or just put O for output. You can go ahead and write it all out if you want. Second question, who has absolute advantage? So I want to fill out this chart right here. So Joy gives 2 haircuts or 1 perm, 2 haircuts, 1 perm. So we can see Susie gives 3 haircuts, 2 perms. So who has the absolute advantage in the first product? The first product is haircuts. Joy can do 2, Susie can do 3. Remember, absolute is just whoever can do the most and who has the advantage in it. So Susie would with 3. Third one, who has the comparative advantage in the first product? Okay, so now with the first product, who has a comparative advantage? Since it's output, we can just go ahead and cross multiply. And you have 4 here, 3 here. Remember, since it's output, we want the high one. So Joy would. Okay, and I'm going to come back to that when we have to deal with the true comparative advantage with ratios in a little bit. Okay, now going on, it says number 4, who has the comparative advantage in the second product? So if we cross multiply the opposite way towards perms, 3, okay, and 4 down here, you can see Susie has 4, so Susie would. Okay, and that's just where that cross multiplying ends up helping answer easy questions like that. Now, number 5, it says, within which range will the terms of mutually beneficial trade be? So now we have to figure out, okay, trade. So basically, every time, okay, Joy does a haircut, she has to give up a half of perm. Okay, so for Joy, 1 haircut equals 1/2 perm. Okay, now, okay, if you go ahead and do Susie, okay, every time she does a haircut, it would end up being 2/3 of a perm. So basically, Susie equals 1 haircut equals 2/3 of a perm. Now, when we go through and figure out opportunity costs and ratios, we have to look at the low number. So when we take a look, okay, every time Joy does a haircut, she only has to give up a half a perm. Susie, every time she does a haircut, she has to give up 2/3 of a perm, so she has to give up more. So the lower opportunity cost is Joy, right? So remember, who has a comparative advantage in the first product? We said Joy when we did the cross multiplying. It just somehow works out that way. So the trade would be 1 haircut for between 1/2 perms and 2/3 perm. So what that means is if Joy does all haircuts because she has the advantage, she should be able to get up to 2/3 of a perm. Okay, so what you would look at is over here, where this is Joy's and this is Susie's, okay, production possibility curve, Joy should be able to do haircuts and then trade for perms. So if she goes ahead and goes 2 times 2/3, shoot, I wish I had my calculator. So 2/3, that would be 4/3. It'd be 1 1/3. So 1.33 is her consumption possibility frontier. So what would happen is you take the person who has the advantage in it, which was, okay, Joy. She just produces what she has the advantage in. Okay, then she trades. Now remember, Susie possibly give up to 2/3 because that's typically what she gives up to. So the max that she could get for trade is there. Typically, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Okay, but that's what her possibility frontier could get out to, and see how she can now consume more than what she produced. All right, you have to do this same thing for the rest of these. Okay, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Go ahead and finish up and do the rest of them. So this is output. This is input. Go ahead, let's not do number 3. let's see, require 10 labor hours per unit of beef produced and 30 labor hours of cotton. Okay, and then of course, this is input 2. Let's just change this one to output. Let's go ahead and let's do number 2 and number 4 and just say they can do 10 in a day, 30 in a day, 15 in a day instead of labor hours, and 40 in a day. So you only have to do 3. You have to do number 1, number 2, and number 4. Number 3, the input, it gets a little bit confusing when you get to that, so we're just going to go ahead and skip that. All right, if you have questions, I'm on the Google Meet, so let me know. Bye.